What's up, y'all, man? This is Dom coming to y'all live from Speak on It. It's our fifth episode. So just want to introduce my counterparts. We got Taman in the building with us. We got Jay in the building with us, and we got Chris, aka Gummer, Buck, aka Skip, Gummer Bayless. But yeah, man, we coming to y'all live with our college edition, with college season officially started. We just wanted to bring it in with this podcast. So our first topic we're going to talk about being is that Alabama just came national championship. We're going to talk about dynasties in college football and really talk about some of the best dynasties that we've ever seen in college football. So I'm gonna open up like that, and my guys speak on it. Who want to speak on it first?
Yeah, I'm gonna just say this. I don't watch much, but the college football I do watch, it's under Alabama's dynasty is. From winning chips, undefeated seasons, and always getting the best 5-star high school players at every position and have the depth that they have. It's remarkable. That's all I say.
Can't fight with that, man. Who can't fight with that?
I'm a go. Let me go.
Okay, go ahead.
When you talk about dynasties, you think about different programs. I one of the most favorite dynasties that I would go back to would be the U in like the early 2000s. Like, with how many first round picks they had from Ed Reed to Jeremy Shockey to all the running backs that came through, Clinton Portis, even Najee Davenport, I remember. They had a dynasty that couldn't be touched, and they should have beat Ohio State, and they would have had back-to-back. I think about another dynasty would be USC as well. They came out. It was like Carson Palmer started that run of Heisman, because then it seemed like if you was a USC quarterback, you was guaranteed in the running. From Matt Leinart to what was the other one? I can't think of his name.
Reggie Bush won the Heisman.
There's another one. It was another quarterback though too. Was it Sanchez? No, he didn't win the Heisman. But anyway, that I think those epitomize from what I seen from the 2000s. Those two dynasties were I think Miami would definitely give Alabama a run.
Would you put Florida in there the time that Tim Tebow was there?
I was actually going to say that. That was going to be my pick, actually, was Florida. Because like Christian said, you got Tim Tebow. What was the other guy's name that was there that won it?
Leak.
Was it Leak? Chris Leak?
Chris Leak was there. I think
Chris Leak won a chip. Tebow won 2, right?
Yep. Tim Tebow won 2 of them games.
Yeah, Tebow won 2. I mean, the only thing about I would have to say Florida, but as far as like players that went from college to the league, hands down is Miami. I mean, Duke Johnson is an all-time leading rusher. That should say enough. You might have to fact check that though. I don't know if that's true or not.
What about Florida State? You don't think they can get in the conversation?
No.
All right, cool.
I mean,
He said no.
They was getting, Florida State at their height still couldn't beat Miami.
Miami got.
I think 3.
Altogether, I think it's 3. But I think they got during that dynasty run, they had 1, like the Michael Irvin days or whatnot. I think they had like 2. like Vinny
their dynasty,
Testaverde.
the dynasty of the '80s was a little bit more dominant, and especially when you think that they had 3 different head coaches at the time. You know, what I mean, Jimmy Johnson is the guy that gets a lot of credit and the praise, but Schellenbecker and Dennis Erickson won chips there too. So like, and then you think about the players that came out of that time, you know, whether it was, you know, the Michael Irvins or the West Name brothers. I can't even think of their name. The Blades brothers. Like, it was a lot of guys. Russell Maryland. Like, a lot of guys came out of that era as well. It's kind of before
The Rock too.
our time.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Don't
Yeah,
disrespect.
Hey man, he sacked Charlie Ward.
But I wouldn't say Florida
really
State.
tough.
Topic: how good was Charlie
Go ahead, go ahead.
athlete? Good lord.
Charlie Ward was really good.
He was I think he was. I started to put the Florida State started like a little bit before our time, or before my time. So that's why I didn't really touch on them. But a lot of people that I wrote down, like the Miami Hurricanes, that 02 to 03 run, and the people they was putting in the pro every year, they was a running back was solid out of freaking Miami, and you can count on like a defensive back that was going. I mean, a tight end that was solid.
What about LSU?
One of the I didn't really put LSU on there because I think LSU they wasn't a dynasty like they had a stretch where they was just dominant. You know what I mean, where they was winning championships. But over the course of like a program, they put out a lot of players, but they wasn't really like dominant. But one of the teams I didn't talk about that I had written down was Ohio State from 2002 to 2010, where they was out here. I ain't saying they was winning championships, but they was putting in players, and they was just winning their of course Alabama from now to present. They dynasty that we got, like Tamon talked about the USC teams where they won back to back, and they almost had a third joint if it wasn't for that guy in Texas, and then like y'all said, Florida. But just going off of that leads us right up into our next topic. I think one of the best performances that I've seen is what Nick Saban did in last year's championship game, and what the boy Tua did coming back, being down to Georgia, and actually bringing Alabama back and winning the game. So the topic I want to talk about leads into that is the best college performance that you got. It could be a single season or it could be a single game. But that's what I really want to talk about.
I'm gonna go first. I'm just a little bit of a player. That's Cam Newton championship game when they came back. I think they were down like 22 or something. And he ended up winning the BCS bowl game. I think that's like.
You talking about against Oregon?
Huh?
You talking about against Oregon in the BCS? You hear me?
Yeah, whenever they was down, hold on. When they won their BCS bowl game against, there was, who was they playing? 1 second.
I think he beat Chip Kelly. No, he said
beat Oregon.
He said Auburn.
Oh, Auburn, yeah, Cam Newton.
Yeah,
they beat
Florida, right?
They beat Oregon.
They beat Oregon. 22. And that game was crazy because Oregon was leading the nation with like some ridiculous number in rushing a game, and they shut Oregon's offense down. So that performance was solid.
What about when he played Alabama and they was down at the half? Was it Alabama that you was talking about, Chris? Because I think they was down
That
at
was
the half.
He was down big.
Yeah, and they ended up coming back and winning by like one. That's one. One. Let me speak on it, please. Josh Rosen, he made me a believer when he played Texas A&M. Yo, I remember watching that game and it was like a blowout, and I turned the channel, but I don't think it wasn't. It was a couple games on, if I'm not mistaken, that night. But I was like, yo, I'm gonna check back and see what they doing. They end up being, I think they was down like 21. Then it was like 14. Then they start coming back, and then I tuned in, and these jokers end up winning, man. I said, yo, and Josh Rosen did the thing. That's what made me say, you know what? Hey, man, 49ers, we can jump up and get him. But then we changed our plans and got Jimmy G, and that's cool. But that was a great performance that I can just remember. That's the most recent. We just talked about Cam, and when TCU beat Oregon, they was down big at the half. They was down like, yo, if I'm not mistaken, they was down like 31-0 at the half and ended up coming back in overtime and beating them. I think those are the three that I can, off the top of my head, I can remember that was like crazy, that made me like sit down and actually like, yo, what is gonna happen? And I was tuned in like those are one of my teams and actually cheering for the underdog. Like Josh Rosen had me hyping here like a UCLA Bruin, man. I don't know what their fight song is, but I was about to sing it that day, man.
Biv, you got something?
Jordan, when he broke the rushing record, the single game rushing record in 2014, man. He had 408 yards and against Nebraska, who at the time was ranked 11th in the nation, man. Like, you think Samaje Perine, I think, came back and broke the record like the very next week, but he did it in 4. So for him to put on that performance, it was a nationally televised game. I think it was prime time on ABC, and against the number 11 team in the nation, and to go for 4 hours, that's big. That's the best thing I ever seen in person.
Yeah, that game was tough. That game was solid. Yeah, I mean, catapulted my man right into a first round pick. Go ahead, Juwan, you got something?
Yeah, you had to give me some bias alert.
All right, I got you. Give me a second. Let me set you up real quick. All right, here it come. Oh.
Bias alert.
Charles Woodson against Ohio State. It was either his sophomore, junior year, where he had like 2 picks, returned the touchdown. He had a touchdown reception and walked off the field with the road.
Oh, that was a lovely moment.
You know what? Let's go to the next topic. Charles Woodson is my greatest, hands down, college football player ever.
Oh, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Hey.
Call the bias alert.
Right with you, buddy.
To me.
Right with you, Jay. All day, but we can get. I'm sorry.
All right, well. Listen, I give y'all two. I give y'all 2 joints that are to me. The first one I give y'all is the Byron Leftwich joint. Back in 2002.
You just say that because he's black.
ECU. He was playing ECU.
You just say that because he black,
They were
man.
down 30. Huh?
I said you just putting him on the map because he black. That's all that is. But go ahead.
Nah. Listen, down 38. Listen, 38-8, right? He chopped them down. They went to overtime. They ended up winning the game 64-61. And the crazy thing about that is, right, is he played against David Gerard. David Gerard played for ECU. They got drafted by the Jaguars.
That's funny. And they ended up being
I think the man had like 500 and something yards. Yep. And he ended up taking a man's job. But the number one joint I ever saw, dog, was Vince Young compete. Ever saw. It was on the biggest stage. He was down. My man took over the game. Had two another two something. Like it was record. I say I put it up there because he's on the big stage, and you know what I mean, it was a victory. Plus, it stopped a dynasty. If Reggie Bush and them go on and win that third championship, I think that's their third in 3 years. And my man put an end to that joint. So that's the best. So into
what about last?
which the leaders.
Real quick, what did you do last year that played for Alabama? The dude that came up the bench and won the game from him.
Yeah, I like you can put it up there because listen, he was a redshirt freshman. This was like his only time really playing on the biggest stage, and he came and he made play after play, and he actually propelled them into winning that championship. If he don't think Alabama wins that championship.
Exactly. That was huge, man. That's a huge confidence building going into the season for him.
Y'all think Nick Saban panicked on that?
Yeah, probably so.
We can say panic, or we can say
want to chip off of it. He ain't panic. He did the right thing.
So he's man too. Just based off what you just said, Taman, it leads us right into our next topic is who's the best college coach and who's your team in college? Speak on it.
My top 5 right now, top 5 in college football. This is not in any particular order, but I would be remiss if I wouldn't have said Nick Saban. He does what he does, and winning speaks for itself. I think where's the other one? Urban Meyer. I would say, unfortunately, for the situation that's going on, I'm not going to be biased and say he's not a great coach. Ohio State is what it is and has been what it's been. Oh, who said hello?
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know who that is.
Hello.
Yo, that was crazy.
Yo.
You got the fan.
What was that?
What was happening here? I don't know what happened.
We had a first caller.
Party line or something.
Yo, what is happening?
I'm out of here.
Yo, what just happened, man?
We had it in
Yo.
That was Jamel Hill. Jamel Hill was hitting me back.
Yo, that was so weird. What was that, yo?
I don't know. But yo, Chris said I'm out.
I don't know what y'all got going on around here.
Yo.
They're listening. They're tapping.
I know, right? They done tapped in.
I was on audio, so I thought it was like one of y'all watching something, so I couldn't see. And then Somebody was like, no.
Like, yo, what is happening?
Yeah, that was so funny.
That's crazy.
Yo, just restart the room, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, we gotta get out of this room. Hey, I'm not saying nothing else on this room no more.
Yo.
I'm not saying no more in this room.
Yo.
Is Biv froze. Biv, you there?
That might have been. Was it Biv?
Biv ain't answering.
Yo. It might have been him. All right, yo. Let me get back to my top 5. I said, all right. I said Nick Saban, Urban Meyer.
Recording?
Yeah, we still recording. This is all gonna be. Yep. There's no editing out. It is what it is.
No editing.
No editing. No editing. No editing.
They just everybody gonna laugh just like we did. Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Dabo Sweeney. I think what he's doing at Clemson is building that program into a powerhouse, and it seems like it's either them or Alabama. What has it been the past 2-3 years? And for him to have what he has recruiting wise, he's in that SEC area, but he plays in the ACC, which is helpful for him to where they're pretty much a top team. Not to dip into any other topics that we got going on, but I think it's them, Miami, and then everybody else in the ACC. Speaking of Miami, Mark Richt, I think what he did at Georgia, he held that to a winning program. I only think he only had like one season where he didn't go over 500. He took them to bowls. They expected championships, which they're getting right now with Kirby Smart. And I think that's a matter of his recruiting, not necessarily his coaching. But I think Mark Richt is showing that he can build that Miami program back up to where it used to be. And number 5, like I said, I'm going to be unbiased. And although I have some hateful feelings against this man, the way he dismantled my franchise, but Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly in the NCAA is where he belongs. He's back home. Don't ever come to the NFL ever again, especially across the bay. But he can definitely turn that UCLA program into what he did in Oregon. He knows the area well. And what I think what helps him is the fact that he was an NFL coach, so he's seen the atmosphere, and he can kind of groom them the same way that Harbaugh is doing in Michigan, trying to groom them to be good pros. So that's my top 5, and I was unbiased.
And the crazy thing,
I didn't put Harbaugh in it, so there y'all go.
Wait, did you say the coach from Penn State was that legendary coach?
Oh no! I was talking about top 5 now.
Joe Paterno?
Yeah,
I'm talking about top 5 now.
Yeah, top 5 now.
Oh.
Yeah, is it now or all time?
I did now.
I just did now.
All time. I need a couple minutes.
If y'all do it all the time, I mean, that's up there. If y'all did it all the time too. Juwan.
Yeah. Can you stop doing that?
You did all the time?
I'm having
All right, so top 5. Oh no, so I did top 5 now. So my five this is in order. I did James Franklin.
Hold up.
You can say it's biased.
Hold on. I'ma get it. I gotta cue it. Cause for you, that's the first name you say.
Bias alert.
I said top 5.
It's a bias alert.
I'm going 5 to 1.
No,
all right, so listen.
No,
here's my
not
thing.
at all. One more time.
Bias alert. It's a bias alert.
listen. This is why I picked James Franklin at 5, right? Because what he did with a historic franchise, like Joe Paterno was Penn State football. You know what I mean? And for that scandal to happen and for him to come in, you know what I mean, he went back to back 7 and 6 seasons, but then to turn that franchise around, that program around to where they're in Rose Bowls and they're competing again. His first 2 years, that he had scholarships. I mean, he didn't have players that were on scholarships.
That
So
was Bill
for what
O'Brien.
he did, huh?
That was Bill O'Brien that didn't have scholarships.
Okay, yeah. Bill O'Brien, but he didn't have his players. What's name didn't have his players? James Franklin. They was Bill O'Brien players. So his first 2 years when he got his players in there, he 11-1. I mean 12-1, 11-2. You know what I mean? So my fourth is Chip Kelly.
What's a lot of Kelly love in here, man?
Listen, I'm just saying what Chip Kelly in college football
What has he won?
is just
Has he won
right.
anything? Do we got any chips?
He got
He ain't got
two.
no chips. No, he ain't got no chips.
He didn't get one in Oregon. I thought he got one in Oregon.
No, he was in
No, he don't got one in
Got
Oregon.
him out of there.
Yeah,
Listen,
he don't
the
got
man
one in
done
Oregon. He
won,
lost twice. He lost the
He's
King.
he's
And
won
he
like
lost the,
80% of his games when he's in college.
And listen, I got a stat for
Kelly
you.
is
I got a stat
college
because
is
I knew
840.
I knew somebody was gonna say something. I knew somebody was gonna say something. He 46-7 in college.
How many chips you got? How many chips?
No chips, man, but he's 46-7.
So why is he top 5 right now if he ain't got no chips?
Because I think in college football, man, he revolutionized it, man. Like they're always relevant. Chip Kelly teams was always relevant. So that's what I base it off of is his relevancy. And my next person ain't got a chip either, but he relevant. And I'm gonna give you a record. I'm gonna give you a stat to speak to why I got him up here. David Shaw out of Stanford. My man 73-22. 73-22. All he do is win. Stanford is relevant. They're always relevant.
I'm gonna give you that one solely because he's a brother.
Power to the people.
I'm giving you that solely because he's a brother. That's it.
Hey, listen, I respect it. My man, he 4-3 in bowl games too. That's another thing. Everybody can't win because of the system. Yeah, I mean the way they set everything up. My man, 4-3 in bowl games. My number 2, I struggle with this one, and I guess we can say it's biased because I ain't gonna say I don't dislike him, but I'm tired of him winning. My number 2 is Nick Saban. But I'm gonna give you this stat right here to kill myself. My man is 127
Bias alert. Bias
and 20.
alert.
There you go. He 127 in Alabama with 5 rings. My man only lost 20 games. He only lost 20 games. In his whole career, my man 218 with 62 losses.
So why is he number 2?
Wins, 62 losses.
So why is he number 2?
Because it's biased. It's a bias alert. I was being biased on that joint.
So who's number 1?
Dabo. I think a lot of people go to Alabama because of their name, but you really can't take away from what he has done. But I think Dabo Swinney is my number 1 coach in college football. 101 wins, 30 losses, and he got 1 championship. I think he's a good motivator. He's a good recruit, and he wins. But listen, I can switch Nick Saban to number 1, but Dabo's my number 1.
So y'all want the top 5 now or top 5 ever?
I did top 5 now, but if you got top 5 ever, I guess we can debate you on that too.
Top 5. If I do ever, that's a long conversation. So if I do top 5 now, I would have to say no order at all. Dabo. You can't go without saying. Come on, son, relax. gotta relax. Dabo, Nick Saban, dark horse. I like Scott Frost from Nebraska. That coached at UCF. I like him simply because he gives like kids chances. Who else? 4. I'm not saying over Meyer, but I ain't got no respect for him. And also the fact he goes to Ohio State. Nah.
Hold on, Jay. I got it. I gotta give it to you just because you said that.
Bias alert. Bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
All right, I'll take that. I'll eat that. That's cool. That's cool. I'll cop to that plea. Number 4. Number 4 is gonna. I'm gonna kind of go out of the window with this one. I'm gonna say Herm Edwards at Arizona State. Yeah.
Yeah, you went. That was wow. You played to win the game.
You played to win the game. Now,
Hello.
nah,
Biz back.
I like Herm. I like Herm. I think if he can discipline his players and you know what I'm saying, best out of them, I think they could be successful. Now, would it be in the playoffs? No, they ain't gonna be in the playoffs. Would it be better than what they was last year? Yes, they will be.
Playoffs.
Number. Number 5. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna have to go James Franklin. I like James Franklin. Like play like
Hold on,
go
Jay.
to the big.
Hold on, Jay.
Say that.
So you went Big Ten, and I respect you for that, being a Michigan fan. You didn't put Harbaugh in there, so that was unbiased. Would you put James Franklin over Urban Meyer?
Yeah.
I put James Franklin over
I don't
Urban
look
Meyer.
at what you do on the football field. I look at what you do with your program.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Touche.
You know what I'm saying? If you condone, you know what I'm saying, women getting beat, I can't respect that. That's like
I can dig
we would
that.
say ever. I wouldn't even put Joe Con ever. Just off the fact that I don't care if you knew your assistant coach was, you know, touching on doing whatever little boys, you didn't say nothing. You wrong. That's just wrong at the end of the day.
I give you that.
There's no
you made me
comeback from
feel.
that. I don't care how much you coach, how many chips you got. You do something like that, that's on a level of like you just lose all credibility to me.
You made me question my 5
I
now.
also look at the program. I look at the program, what it was before you got there. Like, Ohio State was already a good program before Urban Meyer got there. You know, he took over a program that was already successful. But you can't deny you can't deny his 5 rings.
What he did in Utah, what he did in Florida, like I get it. He is what he is, but his record kind of speaks volumes, and that's
I get it. But listen,
why he still has a job.
Wasn't so? How many championships he got in Florida? He got 2, right? He got 2 in Florida. And then Steve Spurrier. See, the Florida program was jumping with Steve Spurrier. So it wasn't just Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer came in and took over what Steve Spurrier had already done. And again, I'm not taking away from him. I just think, again,
I thought
he takes over for what
Ron Zook, though. I thought he took over for Ron Zook.
Florida.
Yeah.
Wasn't Steve Spurrier there before him?
I thought Zook took over for Meyer.
Okay. I'm just saying, I don't know. I hate Florida, so I really don't know.
Spurrier, Urban Meyer didn't win with Chris Leak.
Yeah, he did.
It was Urban Meyer. I thought that was Steve Spurrier.
Nah, Chris Leak was definitely Urban Meyer.
Yeah, that might be Meyer.
Yeah, because Tim Tebow was doing that jump pass stuff.
So you ain't got a top five, Biff?
My top 5 coaches right now. Number 5, I'm gonna take James Franklin, man. Like, despite all he's doing at Penn State, man, like he had Vanderbilt ranked in the top 25, man. These last 2 years at Vanderbilt as well, man. Before even taking over Penn State, and you think about what he inherited at Penn State to, in year 3 to be in the Rose Bowl, winning a Big Ten championship, like that speaks for itself. 4, I think he's only in like maybe his second or third year as a head coach, man. I think Kirby Smart is the real deal, man. I'm gonna put him at 4, man. Like, you think about Georgia under Mark Richt, like they were known for having talent, but they just could not win. And for him to get there and start the winning at Georgia, I'm gonna put him in the top 5. At 3, it's probably gonna shock a lot of people, but I like Chris Peterson from Washington, man.
I like him. I like Chris Peterson from Washington.
Like, man, people forget what he did at Boise, man. Like he had Boise like relevant every year with dudes you never even heard of before or after. Like, that's not like he was sending guys to the league, and one of his guys ended up being like on the cover of like NCAA football one time. So, like, I think he's a really good coach. Washington continues to put guys in the pros. And I just like what he's doing in Washington. My man at number 2 is Dabo Swinney, man. Like, Dom hit a nail on the head a while ago. 101-30, and you remember at one point in time, man, Clemson, and that was a thing. If you choke and you lose a game, you lose a big game, it was called Clemson. And now, like, they are perennial college football playoff favorites. And then number 1, it's got to be St. Nick. Like, 27-20, 6 national championships, 5 at Bama, 1 at LSU. And do you know his first season at Alabama, what his record was?
Nope.
He was 6-6 in his first season. 6-6 in his first season. So that means he's lost 14 games since his first season at Alabama, man. Like, in the toughest conference in college football during that time frame. Like, that's crazy to think about.
And he's
then
a product.
I'm gonna hit y'all with some other stuff.
He's a product of Belichick too.
But I'm getting ready to give you some people from his coaching tree. You're talking about Mark D'Antonio from Michigan State. You're talking about Jimbo Fisher. You're talking about Dan Quinn of the Falcons. Like, Kirby Smart. Like, his coaching tree is crazy too. Like, you think about the coaches that have coached under him and have gone on and been successful. They had to have learned something from him. That's how I look at it. So
I'm gonna tell you what's crazy about, and again, I think he is the best college coach out there. I didn't put him 1 because it was a bias, but the crazy thing is about this is that my man is doing all this, and who's his quarterback? Like, who is his quarterbacks that he got? AJ McCarron out there. He got Greg, whatever the bull name is.
Greg McElroy.
Greg McElroy. But, like, these ain't no big top name quarterbacks. And even when we go for his running backs, right? His running backs do well in his program, but when they get to the pros, only one that's really I can think that's thriving like that right now, 2 of them, is Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram. Like,
I told y'all not to draft Kenyon Drake, and y'all shot me down. Like, I was like, Oh my gosh.
Drake,
Not to draft Todd Gurley.
is
So I
solid.
guess Kenyon Drake must be, you know what I mean? You got to put him in the conversation, I guess.
Kenyon
But
Drake will be solid.
Kenyon Drake was just a strictly a return dude in college. Like he was barely in the rotation in the backfield. Like he was just a return dude. Like that's what he was known for in the national championship. He made the big return for the touchdown. Like he wasn't getting a lot of touches out of the backfield.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Nick Saban recruits NFL players. That's all that is.
He does. I can't say that because defensively, I think he coached him up, man, because defensively, it ain't like he got it is big name superstars out there that he's churning out. Yeah, I mean,
hold on. Les Miles put more guys in the NFL over the same time frame than Nick Saban. So while Les Miles not winning,
yep. We got Ohio State is up there, USC, but my man got 5 championships. He got 5 Georgia up there. He got 5 championships. And these programs are putting out the same amount of players in the NFL as he is, but he's the one that's out there winning championships.
Yeah, Bobby Bowden seems to the NFL crazy.
Scandal either. He ain't got no scandal, nothing under his like no bad rap or anything like that. So it's like you can't say nothing bad about Nick Saban. There's nothing you can say bad about him. Only thing
I'm mad at is he keep winning, and I like root for underdogs. But other than that, like you can't knock my man. My man is he's college royalty. Like he gonna be in that game or close to that game almost every year. But since we talking about,
you think he'll be held? Man, one question. You think he'll be held in the same light? You think he'll be held in the same light as Bear Bryant in Alabama when it's all said and done?
Yeah, I think
he's already surpassed him.
Yeah, he already surpassed Bear Bryant.
Yeah, I think he's surpassed Bear Bryant, bro. He got 5 championships there, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
Exactly.
And
he been messing around like 15 chips when it's all said and done.
Listen,
true. Like they're the only team that can lose twice and still have a chance to make the playoffs. Like realistically,
I'm gonna tell you the crazy thing about this. Since we keep talking about Nick Saban, right? His best 2 quarterbacks are on his team right now. The best 2 quarterbacks he's ever had are on his team right now. Both on his team right now. Jalen Hurts was a freshman, and then the boy from Hawaii, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but they talking about he probably the real deal. So you give Nick Saban a real deal quarterback with a defense. What's stopping him? It's nothing you can do.
Michigan,
you can take away from him then.
Michigan stopping him. All right, hold on. Let me cue it. I'll cue it for you. Hold on.
Yo, come on.
Yeah, cue
it. Bias alert.
Cue that one up, boy.
It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
That was a good one, Tamon.
Listen, so since we're talking about all these players, right, and all these players that Les Miles has put in the pros, and all the players that Nick Saban has had, next topic we're gonna talk about, man, is the best college football player ever that you've seen.
You said ever?
Who want to speak on that? The best college football player ever.
Go,
we already
Jay.
know you and Duane.
Go, Jay. I'm gonna be your hype man. Go, Jay.
Charles Woodson. That's all I need to say.
Facts.
Charles Woodson, last defensive player to win the Heisman. He's probably gonna be the only person defensively to win.
Facts.
There's nobody else defensively to win it.
Facts.
Was he better than
he caught touchdown
Jackson?
He caught interceptions and returned them back.
Facts.
He returned kickoffs. He returned
facts.
Punts. Like, come on, man. Like, what more do we got to say? He did everything but run the ball and coach the team.
Facts.
I'm a Michigan fan, and I'm not gonna go that far.
Listen,
I hate to be biased, but that's just.
Hold on, Jay.
Listen, I
let
got
me
him on my list.
before anybody go. Jay said it, so I got it.
Bias alert, bias alert. It's a bias alert, bias alert.
But he's speaking facts.
What year he won that Heisman? Was that 96? What year was that? 96?
97.
97. Okay,
over the great Peyton Manning.
Over the great Peyton Manning. Oh, you right. Okay, so that's where I was. That's what I wanted to get to. That's what I want.
Randy Moss is a very, 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 very close second.
That's what I wanted to get to right there. Anybody else want to go before I start chopping down this biased opinion?
Hold on, okay. Let me go.
Hold on.
Let me go. Unbiased. I'm gonna give you unbiased first. I would say it was a toss up with me. I would say either Tim Tebow or Reggie Bush. Reggie was a bad man. Like I thought he was gonna be Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow got a Heisman. He got 2 rings.
Yo,
I can't knock that man.
Tim Tebow.
I can't knock that man at all.
What is up with Tim Tebow?
I can't knock him. He's not a great NFL quarterback. But listen, if he could be a professional collegiate player, he would be one of the greatest ever. But that can't happen. But biased and unbiased pick would be Charles Woodson. Just like Jay said, this man won a Heisman Award playing defense, return, interceptions
we don't
with
one
one
hand.
hand.
Of that, man. You already heard it.
Okay, so let me.
We don't need to repeat.
Bias alert, bias alert. It's a bias alert, bias alert.
Yeah, let me speak my piece. Come on, yo, okay. All jokes aside, like I understand, I'm biased on that, but like realistically, there's never been a defensive player. I ain't gonna say never, but come on now, like in 6th, 7th grade, you seen what this man did, yo. He single-handedly beat Ohio State. Did he not? Okay, leave it at that. Go ahead, whoever want to go.
All right, well, I'm gonna go before Dom rip a hole in y'all's case on Charles Woodson. For me, the best college player I ever seen was Adrian Peterson, man. Like, you talking about freshman grown man, could have went straight to the NFL, running dudes over. I'm not running out of bounds. I'm gonna go find somebody else to run over. Locomotive. Like, Adrian Peterson could do it all, and you could tell from the very first time he touched the ball that he was going to be the best running back in the league for like 8 to 10 years. So, Dom, do you?
Listen, Buck, you got something? No?
No.
All right, listen. Adrian Peterson, that's a good pick. And listen, I'm not knocking Charles Woodson. I'm not knocking him. I'm gonna just give y'all couple players, like you said. I think
somebody Penn State coming, so let me get the bias alert ready.
No, listen, we don't got nobody to mention.
Yo, if you say Kajana Carter, I'm walking right out of this conversation.
We ain't got nobody to mention. This is unbiased. I think Charles Woodson won the award because they were biased. But we were talking about that. Peyton Manning 39-5, but he ain't my guy. My guy.
Hold up. No. Ho. You can't skip by that. You're not gonna skip by that. How are they unbiased and he played defense? And we got Peyton Manning, who's a Manning. Are you serious? The first family of football.
I didn't pick Peyton Manning.
And he was America's golden boy.
I didn't pick him.
No, but don't say why my man got the Heisman was because it was biased. Definitely wasn't biased.
You did kind of throw that in there. A little bit.
My man got it because it was biased. Listen, my man played 2 seasons at Marshall. 2 seasons at Marshall. 2 seasons. My man got 50. He got 54 touchdowns. 54 touchdowns, 2 seasons at Marshall. My man got 3,529 yards, receiving yards,
It
playing
was at
2 seasons at
Marshall.
Marshall.
It was at Marshall.
I don't give a I don't give a darn where it was. It could have been in high school. I don't care where it was. My man got 50, my man got 54 touchdowns in 2 seasons.
Yo, that was what he was supposed to do. Why y'all mad? Because it was at Marshall. Like that's what he was supposed to do. Like,
Nah, I'm
What
saying
else was he? What,
this is the debate.
Like,
So
what
I'm a
else was-
debate. I'm a debate
let me ask you-
now.
okay, so listen.
How
Well,
your
listen,
greatest player
I think
ain't win the
the
my
thing is,
Heisman?
Moss,
my
is
biggest
we
thing is-
got to remember that he got accepted to Florida State first, and he kind of like smoked himself out of there, and then
But listen,
go
literally.
to Marshall.
you can't take away my man's stats. But listen, let's not act like when we talk about it's Florida State or it's Ohio State, bruh. The first 4 games, y'all, we playing Delaware. Three, 4 of them games you playing Delaware, you playing Appalachian State, you playing Howard High School. What are you talking about?
Not at Michigan. Not at
Hey
Michigan.
man, hey.
At Michigan. Okay. You did say the Appalachian. Okay. You threw that one in there. That was slip up. Don't do that.
Armani Edwards, yo.
And Charles Woodson didn't play that game. So let's not do that. Let's talk about the games that Charles Woodson played.
Somebody lost that.
Huh?
Listen.
That was
All
embarrassing.
I know is my man Randy Moss should have won. My man Randy Moss should have won the Heisman that year. Listen, for Randy Moss to come in 4th, he came in 4th in the Heisman voting. That right there tell you is bias right there. He came in 4th in the Heisman voting.
I'm not going to say that it wasn't biased against him, but it wasn't biased for Charles Woodson.
Yeah, I think. Listen,
I think my unbiased pick would have been Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams was a beast.
Ricky Williams was a beast.
He was a
So
beast.
listen, Randy Moss, I think should have got it, but then Reggie Bush, man, Reggie Bush won 2 Heismans. Should have had 3 of them things. If it wasn't for my man Vince Young,
Didn't he sell
and he
one?
did everything.
He sold one of them, didn't he?
Huh?
He sold one of them, didn't he?
Listen, I don't care what you do after. I don't care what you do after you get them.
Yeah.
You get them, they yours. you get them, they yours. You can do whatever you want with them. Listen,
The
you can't sell nothing else in college.
NCAA said you can't do that. Once it's yours, it's yours. You can't sell it to nobody. It can't be nobody else's.
Man, listen. Reggie Bush was that guy, man. You talking about a human joystick, like what they say. And the crazy thing, he wasn't just that in college. He was solid in the pros too. But Reggie Bush was that guy. He was that dude. He was to me. He was USC. I know they had Matt Leinart. I know they had Lindell White. The defenses were solid, but Reggie Bush was everything to him. He catch, he run the ball, he did kickoff return, he did punt return, he did everything. So sort of like what your boy did on defense in Michigan, that's what Reggie Bush was to USC.
I appreciate that.
So, okay. If everybody said they piece on that, man, the next topic we want to talk about, since we're talking about they were playing these trash conferences and everything like that. What is the best conference in college football? Somebody go and speak on that.
Nah, man, them two get ready to be biased, man. Like, we already know it's coming, man.
I'm not gonna be biased. It's a fact.
The right to my Fifth Amendment and not say anything.
Man, I'll speak, man. Listen, I'll speak. Fifth Amendment, all that. I got the freedom of speech. And freedom of speech says the Big Ten East is the best. is the best conference division, whatever you want to call it, in the land. Yo, all jokes aside, man, listen, in the SEC, you have Alabama, Georgia, and everybody else. Miami, and Clemson in the ACC, and then everybody else. Pac-12,
got Florida
USC, and then whoever comes out of whatever division with like 3 losses. And Stanford, sorry. And in what the Big 12, you got Oklahoma and whoever just decides to sneak in, and maybe Kansas State sneak in with like 8 wins in the title game, something crazy. But yo, we have 4
You got TCU.
teams that can legitimately play anybody on any field and compete. Not saying they're gonna win, but Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan State. And then Wisconsin in the West, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And Penn State. Come on now, man. You can't tell me. You can't tell me. SEC or nothing. SEC is Alabama, Georgia, and a couple other dudes from somewhere else. That's it.
And maybe Auburn.
Exactly. But how? That's all I gotta say. How? Speak on it.
Tamon over there, preach.
Hold on.
Preach, Tamon, preach.
Hold on. So everybody in here think the Big Ten is the best conference besides me?
Listen, I can't dispute, man. Listen, Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan.
And that's all in one division. That 40 he just named is just in one division. He didn't even say Wisconsin in the West.
I ain't say, like you said, I can keep going.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
He said we got Wisconsin.
It's a fall off. It's a fall off after that.
I just said Big Ten. Yeah, I'm saying don't divide.
I was about to say if you better go like Northwestern or Illinois, then we should reach it.
Listen, I say
Rutgers. You talking about Maryland, right?
I say Iowa tough. Iowa tough.
Trash.
Iowa's tough.
Trash.
Listen, Northwestern.
Trash.
Dom, you reaching. Dom, you reaching. You reaching.
You're not helping.
Listen, Northwestern was popping one year.
Yeah,
1 year.
Autry is running back.
So who are you gonna say, Biv?
I gotta say the conference that put 2 teams in the Final Four last year, man.
They biased, but
That was politics.
And they're gonna do it again this year.
Politics.
So you saying to me the 2 teams that played for the national championship last year wasn't the 2 best teams in the country?
They didn't even put. First of all, they put Penn State.
No. Answer the question. Are you saying that the 2 best teams in college football last year didn't play for the national championship?
Nope, because I don't think Alabama should have made it.
No. You're not answering the question. Answer the question. Did the 2 best teams play for the national championship last year?
No, because I don't think Alabama should have made it.
That's the question. That's not the question. The question was, were they one of the 2 best teams? I don't care what they made it or not. Were they one of the 2 best teams? And the answer has no. They were one of the 2 best teams. That's why they played for the national championship.
No, they wasn't.
You got Georgia.
They wasn't.
Then you got the team.
The 2 best teams did not play in the national championship last year. The first and the third team played in the national championship. Clemson was the second best team in the nation.
So who was the second best team then, Tamar?
Clemson.
The team that Alabama trashed.
They didn't trash them.
They trashed them 24-6. That's a trash.
That is
that's a trash. 24-6 is a trash. With Dabo's offense, that's a trash. That's the same team that the year before trashed Alabama, right?
No, they had Kevin Bryant.
Exactly, with a different quarterback. So that makes them a totally different team. So I'm not going to say Clemson was ready last year. I didn't think they were that good last year. They survived a lot of close, scary games. They should have lost to NC State.
kicker.
I just said it because I wanted to argue.
Anywho, you talking about Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State got Nick Fitzgerald, probably the best quarterback in the country. You're talking about Texas A&M. You're talking about LSU. You're talking about LSU. You're talking about Georgia. You're talking about LSU. They are going to be good. You're talking about Georgia. You never know what you're going to get out of Florida, but I expect Florida to be good. There's too many quality teams that if you line them up, the Big Ten's fall-off teams are not as good as the fall-off teams in the SEC. I don't see Northwestern beating Texas A&M on a neutral site. And I definitely don't see anybody outside of Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State competing with Auburn, Georgia, or Alabama. Wisconsin doesn't have the athletes to get on the same field as them. They don't.
He convinced me.
That's why Wisconsin gets mopped every year. Whatever team come out of the West get mopped every year by either Penn State or Ohio State because they don't have the athletes, man. In Wisconsin, they're going to line you up. They're going to run the football down your throat. And Alabama is like, I love this. This is all you're going to do. You're going to want to run the football at me, and my run defense is better than your run offense. And they're going to wear them out. Wisconsin doesn't match up well with teams with athletes, man. The SEC, too many athletes spread across, man.
Wisconsin beat LSU like a couple years ago.
Too many quality teams.
Wisconsin beat LSU a couple years ago. What do you mean?
Man, it's September. You keep bringing up the September games, man. They really don't matter. They rather you lose early than late. If they would have lined up again in January, LSU would have smacked them.
I'm not LSU. I think LSU is big in theory. They're big name, but again, rattling off them other SEC teams, man, listen. They solid. No,
I think. Listen. For the sake of the show, Biv be over there watching the SEC network, man. That's what that is, man. He be watching the documentaries.
Nah, man, I watch everything. I watch.
He done forgot about the Big Ten network, man. You know we got network too, right?
No, I watch the Big Ten network too. I'm a Michigan fan, man, but I gotta keep it real at the same time, man. We got the best division in football. Okay. We got the best division in football.
Okay.
I give us that.
There we go.
There's no team. There's no conference in the country that has 3 top 10 teams, in my opinion, in their division.
So we can agree that in the mixed. Okay, all right.
But overall conference, I got to still give it to the SEC, man. I hate it, but it's the truth.
I can respect that.
We good? Everybody see their piece on that?
Yep, we can move on.
Where's the
talking about these players?
Where's the Big 12? Nobody said the Big 12 or the Pac 12? No? All right.
Listen, I just mentioned the Pac 12, but they ain't competing with them too. They ain't competing with the SEC, they ain't competing with the Big 10. It was either the Big 10 or SEC. I think Pac 12 is up and coming. But they're not competing with them two. They're not competing with them two teams, the two conferences. Sorry. But since we're talking about players, right? And since my man Biv threw a little filler out there, a little flyer out there, Mississippi State is the best in the nation. We're gonna go with our top 5 Heisman candidates. You know what I mean, to watch. So who wants to speak on that? Who wants to talk about that first?
I'll go first. No particular order. 5 guys I got my eyes on. It would have been my man Fitz would have been in the mix, but I just seen that he got suspended for the season opener, so you can't be missing games and win the Heisman. But I think Penn State's gonna be really good, and they're gonna be really good because of Trace. So I'm gonna put him on my Heisman watch. I think West Virginia's air raid offense makes Will Grier a Heisman candidate. Khalil Tate in Arizona is the real deal. He's on there. Wisconsin's offense is all about running the football. So Jonathan Taylor is on there. And then my man Shaw up in Stanford, he gonna run the football too. So Bryce Love, that's my 5.
Did you look at my list or something? You looked at my list. You
I didn't look at your list.
looked at my list. Can I go so I can make it feel like nobody else looked at my list?
Go ahead.
All right. So, he said Will Grier. Yep, that's number. I ain't say number 1, but they like quarterbacks. Bryce Love, Stanford, Jonathan Taylor, Trace, and this is I picked a 5A and a 5B. It really depends on. I know a defensive player doesn't really win Heisman's, but Charles Woodson did. But the boy from Houston, and as a dark horse, I would say Drew Lock from Missouri. Depending on how they do, I think that he's going to be one of the top 3 quarterbacks taken. But I think that would help if they win games. If they actually come on and shock some people, I think that he'll be a dark horse.
You got something for me, Jay?
Yeah. 5 Heisman candidates.
Yep.
No order in particular. I'm gonna go the boy McSorley from Penn State. As much as I hate Penn State, but he's good. He looks legit. They ain't had a good quarterback since Kerry Collins or Michael Robinson.
As I was about to say, Kerry Collins.
Disrespecting us, man.
Nah, but I like Bryce Love from Stanford. I like him. What's the one cat? Jonathan Williams from Wisconsin or Taylor?
Oh, Jonathan Taylor, yep.
Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. I like Nick Bosa as well from Ohio State. I like him.
Okay.
Them Bosas are a problem.
Yeah, listen, Nick a monster. That's your 5?
I got one more, right? I got one more?
Yeah, I think you got one more.
And I'm gonna go another defender, Rashawn Gary. Bias alert.
Yo, can we get that? Can we get that bias alert out there?
Okay, here it come.
Bias alert.
Here it come. It's coming.
Bias alert. Bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
Listen. I like the list, man. I love all the Trace love, all that Penn State love, especially coming from you Michigan fans, man. I know that hurts y'all, man.
Hold on, you're not going
to put my man Trace in there, so
bias alert. Bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
I didn't put Trace not on my list.
Nah, but you was talking about all the love. You appreciate it. Why you appreciate it?
Because I'm a Penn State fan. I appreciate the love. Listen, so on my list, I'm gonna throw an honorable mention in there for y'all. It's gonna be Shea Patterson. I think that if he can be what Harbaugh wants him to be, I can see y'all having a big year. So that's my little honorable mention in there. So at 5, I got 2 people in there. I got Dwayne Haskins, Ohio State. The reason I put him in there because he's a quarterback, Ohio State, and I think that what's going on with Urban Myers, if they can actually if they can win games with him at the quarterback, I think he has to be mentioned. I think almost every quarterback at Ohio State, whether it be J.T. Barrett, whether it be Braxton Miller, whether it be the boy Cordell Jones, they are always mentioned in the Heisman just because of the way they win. So I think that if he'll fall right in line, and he showed signs last year. But the person I really got from out of Ohio State is J.K. Dobson. He set a record last year, man. Freshman with Ohio, he's gonna be the real deal. Like Tomas said, I mean, Drew Lock led the nation in touchdowns last year, 44 touchdowns, man.
It's a lot of Ohio State love.
This boy yawn though, like right in the middle of them talking though. Yo.
I'm a Penn State fan, man. But listen, we gotta be real. We gotta be real.
Yeah, but you was giving too much love to Ohio State, man. I can't. No, I'm not. No.
Yo, this man really yawned though.
I'm gonna cue it up for myself.
Bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
I'm sorry, audience. I'm sorry, but listen, he gave 2, and we ain't even get to number 4 yet to Ohio State. I couldn't let it pass.
This man yawned twice while that man was talking. Yo, the amount of disrespect. Like,
yeah, I thought that was legit yawn.
I knew it wasn't legit at all because it was too much Ohio State going on. I was about to say something myself.
He yawned. I looked at the time. I said, "Dang, man,
like my man Dom is really giving. He turning into a Buckeye sexual over here, man. What's going on with this? Like, I can't deal with this much Buckeye love at one time."
Listen, I'm Penn State through and through, man. But listen, I got Urban Meyer's gone, man. And listen, they got Ryan somebody back.
Man, he's practice every day. He's not going nowhere.
Man, we're gonna move on, man. I ain't gonna talk about Ohio State no more for the rest of the show. I ain't going to.
That is greatly appreciated.
I yawn though. Like,
listen, got my man Drew Lock. Like I said, led the nation. He led the nation in touchdowns. I got Jake Fromm, who was a freshman last year. I think he gonna add on to his performance that he put in the national championship game. Two people. I got 2 backs. I got Bryce Love and Jonathan Taylor. I really got Bryce Love, man. Bryce Love, 2,118 yards rushing last year, 19 touchdowns, 8.1 yards a carry. The boy's a monster, man. So I got him at my number 2. And my number 1 is Khalil Tate, man. He's the most explosive player in college football. I think that Lamar Jackson has put the athletic quarterback on the map. I think he's going to be must-see TV. If he can actually start like throwing the ball a little bit more, he gonna run. He gonna run. If Arizona wins games, he gonna run away with the Heisman.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The only reason I don't have him higher, well, the 2 reasons is because 1, they're not going to probably win a lot of games. Mm-hmm. If they win, they might win 8 or 9, if that. But also, not a lot of people on the East Coast are going to stay up to watch him, man. Out on the West Coast, man. Nobody stays up to watch those 10:30 games. That's going to hurt him too.
Yeah, but he's the real deal, man. He's just as exciting. I ain't gonna say he's just as exciting as Lamar Jackson, but he's the real deal, man. Like, he's solid.
I like it.
He's solid. So I like, I mean, a lot of y'all picks, like Will Greer. I like Will Greer. I just think that I gotta see. I mean, I don't think he played all last year. But I really gotta see. I like the love from Houston, the ball from Houston. Defensive play solid, and I actually like the defensive end out of Michigan. But that's my top 5 Heisman watch, man. So now we're gonna talk about the Power 5 conference champions matchups. We touched on it a lot with the best conferences in football, and we pretty much know who gonna be the big dogs in there. But let's talk about the matchup, man. Who wants to speak on that first?
I'll go. In the ACC, I got Clemson over Miami. I know I initially picked Florida State, but I did a little bit more research on Clemson, and I'm gonna take Clemson in that matchup over Florida State, which will decide who wins their division. And Clemson beats Miami in the championship. And the Big Ten, Taman, cue that thing up, man.
Here you go.
Cue that thing up.
Bias alert.
Cue
Bias
that thing
alert.
up, man.
It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
I'm taking my Wolverines over Wisconsin, man. Jim Harbaugh, he gonna get it together, man. He got his quarterback now, and we gonna take the East this year. In the Big 12, a guy that I would have probably put in my top 5, probably if he could do what I think he's gonna do this year, will be Tom Herman, and that's win the Big 12 championship. I'm taking Texas over Oklahoma. In the SEC. In the SEC, I'm gonna take Bama over Georgia. Whoopity doo dah. In the Pac-12, I'm gonna take Washington over one of them Southern California teams, UCLA or USC. I don't know which one's gonna win the South, but it doesn't matter. Washington is gonna win that conference.
Next up.
All right, so it looks like Wayne been looking at my paper again. So let's go down the list again. Clemson versus Miami in the ACC. I've said it before earlier that those are the two best teams in my opinion in the ACC, and of course they'll meet in the ACC championship with Clemson going. And Big 12, I have West Virginia versus TCU, and I got TCU actually winning. One of the things that we had discussed is how there's a lack of defense in the Big 12, and one of the only teams that has a defensive presence would be TCU. So I think that actually propels them to win the Big 12. Pac-12, same as Biv, Washington versus whoever comes out of the South, and Washington wins. I actually have USC down, but I mean anybody can win that, to be honest, especially if they're going to start the freshman, JT Daniel. The Big Ten, I'm going to cue it up for you as well. Cue it up for everybody to hear.
Bias alert. Bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
I have Michigan over Wisconsin, and I got us going to the playoff. And SEC versus that's SEC versus. Got Georgia versus Bama, but I got Georgia winning, not Bama.
Jay, you got something for me, man? Before I dive in.
Yes, sir. For the Big 12, I got Oklahoma beating TCU. The Pac-12, I got Washington beating UCLA. In the ACC, I got Clemson over North Carolina. I don't know, for some reason I think North Carolina's going to be good. I don't know why. That backs up what I'm saying. Just a bold prediction. That's all.
That's a bold one.
Who else? Oh, the Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Cue me up, Tamon.
Give me a second.
Bias alert. Bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
I got the Wolverines over the Badgers. Wolverines playoff win championship.
Dang, That's the next top. That's the next top.
Spoiler.
What a great segue.
No, it's okay, because I still got to get my gun. So, with that being said, ACC, I got Clemson over Florida State. With the Big 12, I got UCLA over Washington. I got the Big 12, I got Oklahoma over TCU. And the SEC, Georgia over Bama. And the Big 10, Tamon, go and cue that thing up. You already know what it
is. Here it come.
Bias alert, bias alert. It's a bias alert, bias alert.
I got Penn State over OSU.
Really? And Penn State. I thought there was going to be no more mention of the Buckeyes on this podcast by you.
I wasn't going to say it, man, but listen, y'all getting all this Michigan love over here. I ain't want to mention. I ain't want to say it. Y'all was giving them too much love. Michigan too much love over here.
But we speaking facts.
I got Penn State winning it all with segue right into the playoffs. Who your 4 teams in, and who the national champions?
I'm gonna go first because I don't want Dwayne looking at my paper. No,
No,
you're not gonna be looking at my paper and then take my stuff and then come on.
Who's the oldest here? Respect your elders. I'm going first.
Right. Really? It's about like how many months? 6, 7 months?
I'm not gonna steal your thunder. Trust. I'm not gonna steal your thunder though. I got Clemson, Michigan, Bama, and Georgia. I got Clemson versus Georgia in the national championship, and I got Kirby Smart bringing the championship back to Athens. Georgia wins the national championship.
Oh, I thought I was gonna have to hit the bias alert on you. We okay.
I got you.
It would be so
biased, but I ain't crazy.
It would be so me to be biased, but I'm already biased and put Michigan in the playoffs. But I got Michigan, Georgia, I got Washington and Clemson in the playoffs, and I got Michigan beating Washington to get to the national championship game, and I got Georgia beating Clemson, and then I got Georgia unfortunately beating us in the national championship game. I know that's definitely nowhere near what I said about 3 weeks ago, but just looking at everything, I'm gonna give you the bias alert because I got us making a national title game. So
bias alert, bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
Up, man. Go ahead.
Just being real.
All right, my four is going to be I like Washington, Georgia, Bama. Cue me up, Tamon.
I didn't know it was going to be this many cues.
Bias alert. Bias alert. It's a bias alert. Bias alert.
That bias alert getting a workout that night.
In Michigan.
Mm.
It doesn't even matter who we play. Michigan wins the championship. We finally.
I like his attitude.
Petty.
I love his attitude.
I like Shea Patterson.
Oh man,
I love it. I love it.
Listen, I got Penn State in it. I got Georgia. I got UCLA, and I got and I got Bama. No, I got Clemson. I got Clemson in there. So Georgia, Clemson, UCLA, and Penn State. I got Penn State beating UCLA. I got Georgia beating Clemson. And I got Georgia Penn State in the championship game.
I had it queued up, yo. I had it queued up, waiting. I was ready.
Listen. For us to get there, Trace got to put the team on his back, man. We lost Deshaun Hamilton. We lost freaking Mike Gesicki. We lost all our
Saquon
weapons.
Barkley. That's who y'all lost. What you mean?
Huh?
Saquon. Y'all lost your offense. Saquon.
Yeah, we lost Saquon. Listen, Saquon wasn't just our offense. Trace was out there doing his thing. Deshaun Hamilton was doing his thing. Listen, we got weapons out there. Matter of fact, listen, Penn State winning it all.
You ain't up to.
Oh, okay. That's how you.
Bias alert, bias alert. It's a bias alert, bias
Penn State
alert.
going all the way. All right, y'all. So, the next topic, man, I really just it's gonna segue into our podcast on Friday. So it is your way too early mock draft, just your top 10 on your mock draft. So who want to go speak on that?
I'll go first.
When you say
I don't know.
draft,
Yo,
It could be your top 10 best players in college football. Yeah, but I really did the mock draft.
I'm going before Dwayne. That's all I know.
Go ahead, man.
Let me get my top 10. All right, so I got Nick Bosa, number 1. The boy Farrell from Clemson, the defensive end. He's something special. AJ Brown from Ole Miss, the wide receiver. I think he's probably the best wide receiver out there. Ed Oliver, of course, from Houston. If I got him as a Heisman, I as a defensive player, I'm definitely going to put him in top 5. Devin White, the linebacker from LSU. Like Biv said, SEC is full of athletes, so it is what it is. Rashawn Gary from Michigan. That is not biased. I really think that he's arguably the best defensive tackle in the nation. Greedy Williams, corner from LSU. I watched him on tape, and I like him. LSU, for some reason, it's like they can't win it all, but they come out with some talent. Shout out to Odell and that grown man out there in Jacksonville. DeAndre Baker from Georgia. I think he's another corner. You can never have enough corners, especially in this passing league. And Drew Lock. I put him in the Heisman dark horse or whatever, but at the same time, I think him and Will Grier will probably be fighting it out to be the number 1 quarterback taken. Whoever needs a quarterback, which it looks like at this time it's Tampa Bay, maybe. I don't know, but it seems like everybody else is pretty much set at their quarterback spot right now. So those are my top 10 mock draft. There it is.
Who up next, man?
My number 1 guy right now is was it Clelin Ferrell from Clemson?
Yep. Okay.
Then Nick Bosa from Ohio State. It hurt me to say that. Rashawn Gary from Michigan. Raekwon Davis from Alabama is a absolute freak of nature.
Yes, sir.
Austin Bryant from Clemson, another freak of nature. Devin White, I'm with you on that. He's probably the best inside linebacker in the country. I like Michael Jackson from Miami.
I like Michael Jackson too.
He's
I personally
legit.
like Thriller.
Yeah, defensive end. Yeah, he a monster.
I like Taylor Rapp from Washington. He's probably the best safety in the country. I'm with you, Taman, on AJ Brown from Ole Miss. He's legit. And 10, I gotta throw one of them boys from the offensive line in there, and I'm gonna go with Michael Dieter from Wisconsin. That's right, no quarterback.
No QB.
No QB.
Jay, you got something for me?
See, it's too early to call right now, so I'm gonna bow out of this conversation and pass it to you.
Cool.
That's on you.
All right, so I literally did a mock draft. So I got Miami Dolphins probably sucking. They probably need a quarterback, so I either did I did Will Greer or Drew Luck. I think Drew Luck really is going to be it.
So you think hold up? So you think Miami going to be the worst team in the NFL? That man did a whole mock. This man is GM
that's
for real,
man.
I
couldn't really do it because I don't know who's going to be like the worst team. I couldn't think of like their need at that time, so that's why I couldn't really put one together.
I just did a big board. I didn't do it.
That's why I said top 10 players, man, on mock draft. I did the whole thing.
So hold on.
That man.
No, because this is a debate show. We got to debate. So if Miami's picking first, that means Adam Gase is fired, right? Adam Gase is fired, right? He's got to be fired if they first.
Gone.
Man, why? Let's stay on topic.
That could be. That can say, yeah, we got to stay on topic. But listen,
I got to be fired before the trade deadline.
I think Adam Gase is really on the hot seat when you get rid of your best two players.
Hold on, I got to see who number 2 though.
You get rid of your two best players. Number two, the Jets, man, Nick Bosa.
All right, go ahead. Number 3.
No. We're not just going to skip past that. We can't just skip past that, Damon. Because, Dom, you don't have the Patriots in the playoffs, man, and you got the two teams in their division picking first and second, man. Like, something adding up, bruh.
I got the Bills winning that division.
But you just gave the Patriots 4 wins.
Nah, that ain't 4 wins, man. Listen, they can split.
Oh, so that's the only game that they gonna win.
No, they can win like 3 games, man. Like Miami probably got like 3 games in them. The Jets might got like 4 games in them.
Yo, you ain't gonna come at me for cutting him off. Go, Dom. Who number 3?
Number 3, man, I got Arizona. Offensive lineman David Edwards, man, out of Wisconsin. You want to critique that one too?
No, go ahead.
I agree with Arizona picking 5.
I got the Bengals at number 4. Justin Herbert out of Oregon. What he doing there is over.
Man, I'm more intrigued on who picking than who's being picked. Who number 5?
Marvin gotta go there, right? He gotta be fired, right?
Nah, Marvin ain't gonna fire, man. Marvin got an immunity clause in Cincinnati. He got an immunity clause.
Yeah, they're picking in the top 5, man.
Let's take a bet. What happens first? The Detox album drops and Marvin Lewis gets fired.
Marvin Detox, man. Detox will happen first. Pac will make another album before Marvin Lewis gets fired. My bad, Dom. My bad.
He's been there 35 years. He ain't won not one playoff game.
Hey, listen, this is good ratings, man. This is good for ratings.
Nah, go ahead.
I got
so trash, yo. So trash.
I got Tampa picking 5, man. Ed Oliver out of Houston. You gonna say something about that too?
If they picking 5, they need a quarterback, right?
No, man. Listen.
So you got them taking 2 defensive tackles within 2 years.
Listen, Ed Oliver. To me, Ed Oliver, the best player in this draft. You can't pass up on that. What's the name? Getting a little older. Gerald McCoy getting older. And listen, he a transcendent defensive player. I don't think you can pass up on that.
All right, who at number 6?
You got the Bears. Colin Farrell, Clemson.
Okay, I agree with that. Go ahead.
Cowboys, number 7.
I definitely agree with that.
Raekwon Davis, Bama. I got the Colts at 8. Picking Bryce Love. I got the Redskins at 9. AJ Brown.
Okay.
And then I got Baltimore at 10. And they picking Dexter Lawrence, Clemson D tackle.
I was just making sure you ain't say the 49ers. That's all I was making sure.
Listen, I thought about putting the 49ers in there, man. Listen, for me to put the Packers in there today, Aaron Rodgers will have to get injured again.
Let the record show I just knocked on some wood, so that didn't happen.
I feel you, brother.
So that really, man, concludes our really sports talk, man. Our sports topics for episode 5. We all always like to do a social justice topic also. I mean, just to keep things relevant. And social justice topic I want to talk about is the cop that Roy Miller who just got convicted. I feel like I don't really like doing pro anything, but I feel like this is a huge win for the Black community and a huge win for the Black Lives Matter cause. With the conviction, I feel like we finally just say we. When I say me, we just the Black community finally got a win in this situation in the circumstances. What's you guys' thoughts on that?
For the people that don't know, what's the backstory on it?
So Roy Miller, he was a cop from Texas, shot into a car leaving a party. 15-year-old boy, Jonathan Edwards, I think is his name. Jordan Edwards was shot and killed. The cop said he was backing up his partner. So I guess it was some shots at his partner. He's saying it was some shots at his partner or something like that. He said he was really backing up his partner and he let off into the car, killing the 15-year-old boy.
Wow. So he shot for no reason?
He said he was backing up his partner. So
partner was shooting and he was helping his partner out?
That's what the story seemed like.
We'll never hear the truth, man. But
yeah. That's the thing. You know, we'll never get the truth on that. And you know, it's just sad that the people that's supposed to protect us is now become our basically number one enemy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, something happened, you can't call the police. If you get pulled over, you got to worry about getting shot now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm do the protocol and all that, man. I mean, here we raising sons in this, so it's like this is a scary, scary world, man. And the thing is, it won't never get addressed. It just get worse. It'll just keep getting documented more.
And it's crazy. I don't know with the conviction. I don't know. I think he got 15 years. But I think I saw the post today on Facebook that said if a Hispanic did it, yeah, I mean it's like deport them. Yeah, I mean if a Arab did it, it's like I mean they're terrorists. If a black person did it, yeah, I mean we're in a gang or something like that. I mean, but if a white person do it, it's they got mental health issues. Um, I know that's not really part of the topic, but tie in like the Jacksonville shooting, like um, at what point do like at what point do us as black people and it's probably now, but like at like what point do we start like coming together, like getting like really mad? I mean, I really think like at some point it's going to cause like a civil, it's going to cause a civil um
A
division. I
race
don't want
war.
to say civil war,
A race war.
but it's like right. It's gonna be, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be like a race war. Like they saying because he did this. Oh, it's the video games that he's playing. Like it's what he's watching. He has mental health issues. Like we don't play them same games too. We don't, we
My
don't play Call of Duty. We don't play Madden. Like why
my
are we making so many excuses? Go ahead, Tamai. Go ahead.
my take first. I'm gonna speak on the police shooting the 15-year-old. Um, like realistically, if you think about it, I wouldn't even technically say that this would be a win because this is actually what justice is supposed to be. This is what the system is supposed to be. And if you are convicted of cold murder or assault, not even assault, but manslaughter, he got manslaughter, I'm assuming, because he got 15. Um, there's so many other cases where we actually seen where people were murdered in cold blood and the dude get away. You know what I mean? So this right
Mm-hmm.
here is circumstantial. Like we don't really know the details behind it, and he was leaving from a party, so I'm pretty sure that it was different witnesses that could have been of the same color as the officer that may have had conflicting statements to the point to where they couldn't really cover it up. Um, that would be my quote unquote conspiracy theory type mind working. But I mean, ultimately, like I was telling my wife this before that it seems like the media has tried to drive it to where it's going to be a race war. Not even just off the strength of what they publicize, but think of how they portray Donald Trump. Donald Trump is who he is, but at the same time, how he has pretty much made people, like I think Biv said before, show their true colors and have them be proud of the way that they felt behind closed doors. It and the way that they portray the white officers always doing everything to us. And there are situations such as the one in Baltimore where there was a black dude that was a cop that assaulted a black man. So it's not necessarily a white or black thing; it's a cops versus blacks thing. But the agenda seems like it's pushed towards it being a racial type war, and I mean, Dom has said it before on this podcast that he's about loving people. And I totally agree. Like, I'm not the type of person to say, oh, I got one white friend. Like, no, I have friends. You know what I mean? And people that I call my brothers. I don't use that term loosely. Like, if we share a bond, I consider you my brother. I may have a few more brothers than others, but at the same time, like I know that I have certain connections with certain people, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, any type of that. I know that I can talk to real people at the end of the day, and I think that that's one thing that the world, actually not even this world, this nation really needs to understand that like we're the human race, at in the grand scheme of things. We are all people, whether we have nappy hair or straight blonde hair. We both got two eyes, a nose, a mouth, legs. We're a human race. Why can't we just stick to that? Just like if we were out in the wild, that lions would stick together. You know what I mean? Like they don't care if the lion got white spots or whatever. Like the lion's a lion. We're gonna roam together, get a zebra or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it just it boggles my mind the fact that something as silly as the pigment of somebody's skin can make them feel threatened. and make it seem like we did something to them when in all actuality the roles are reversed. So that's my take.
Jay, you good?
Yeah, I'm good on it.
I think one of the things that to mind you hit on, man, is huge. Is like you said, is we all brothers. Like I got brothers that's different colors. No matter what, no matter what your skin color is because this is what I'll say. Like you got blood people, blood brothers. I mean, who may not be as close to you as people that you meet on the street or people that really aren't associated with your family through blood. Like that's what it's about. It's really, I mean, and really, we all put here for relationships. I mean, no matter what your skin color is, we all here and put on this earth for relationships.